Hey everybody, before I outline the next piece of software in our Mini-ITX XBMC setup, I wanted to make note of a quick change I made. As you can see, the background is no longer the default Windows background, and that's due to a small script I found called FreshBing. And this script was written by somebody who wanted to get the daily wallpapers from the Bing website. When you go to look at the search bar, it comes up with a really nice photo. They are usually high quality photos taken of nature or famous landmarks, things like that. But he didn't want to have to install the Bing toolbar, which is a really obtrusive and personally I think it's a really awful piece of software. But until the script was written, it was the only way to get these daily backgrounds. So what this script does is it just takes the daily wallpaper, downloads it for you, and sets it as your desktop wallpaper every day. And I set that up because in the event that this media center ever has any issues and the users of it get booted to the desktop, then they won't see just the default Windows desktop. It'll actually look a little bit nicer. But the next program in our list of programs and scripts we'll be setting up for use with XBMC is called Handbrake. And Handbrake is an encoding software, meaning it can take a file and convert it or encode it into different file formats. For us, we'll be using it for video files. It supports MP4 and MKV video files, but like I said in the last video, we'll be using MKV for all our Media Center videos just because it is the most feature-rich and useful video file format, especially if you're using it for a Media Center. Now, some of you may be wondering, why would we need to use Handbrake when we've already used MakeMKV to copy the Blu-ray or DVD from the disk to the hard drive? And my answer to that is file size. If you look, this is a rip I just did of the Lion King Blu-ray I have, and the MakeMKV file that was created is almost 20 gigs. Now we have a 4 terabyte hard drive, but even so, a lot of 20 gig Blu-ray rips will fill that up really quickly. But if you look at the one made by Handbrake, it's under 3.5 gigs. So that means we can have 5 Handbrake video files for every one MakeMKV video file we have. So in that respect, Handbrake is an amazing program in the sense that it lets you minimize the file size of your videos without really losing quality in terms of audio or visual quality. I can't tell the difference between these two video files other than the file size, and I'm sure some people can, but from a distance I really can't, and especially with the settings I've set, which I'll explain in a bit. So that's the main reason I like to use Handbrake. Now Handbrake does have one flaw, and that it is very CPU intensive. Even with this Mini-ITX XBMC build and the Intel dual-core processor, it can still handle encoding a video in Handbrake and compressing the file size while playing a video file in XBMC, so it's not really a worry. However, it does take quite a while. Using MakeMKV to make this copy of The Lion King took about 3 or 4 hours, whereas compressing it into this smaller file size took about 8 hours. Even with that being said, I worked on a script to automate this process so you can start it and basically forget about it, and then in a half a day or so come back and you can start another one. I'll be outlining that in a future video, but for now I want to go back over to Handbrake. Now Handbrake has a lot of preset settings you can set for different quality levels and things like that, and for most people, especially those who will be making video files for XBMC, high profile works just great. It will automatically crop any letterboxing it finds. It has a high enough quality that you really won't notice a difference in quality between a what they call lossless or full file size Blu-ray or DVD copy. You won't notice a difference in audio visual quality, but you will notice a difference in file size. Audio, it makes it Dolby Pro Logic 2, which is supported by most systems. It preserves chapters and things like that. However, the preset I use is a little bit different, and that is due to our setup. I use a 5.1 surround sound setup, and the family I will be making this Mini-ITX XBMC build for, they do as well. So I know they can handle Dolby Surround, and I'll be outlining the settings I use to make sure that any Handbrake video files preserve surround sound as well as the best video quality possible. Now what I do is I set my anamorphic to strict, and I disable any cropping because I deal with so many different files. Some of them have letterboxing and some don't, and I just want to make sure, better safe than sorry. I'd hate to cut out part of a movie that I didn't need to or shouldn't have, so I just make sure I can deal with letterboxing. Some people can't, but I can, so I just make sure no cropping. I don't really mess with filters. You don't really need to. In terms of video, I keep it at constant quality 20, which is the same quality as high profile. Like I said, it's a great balance between file size and visual quality. I make sure the frame rate is the same as source, just in case any DVDs or Blu-rays have different frame rates. And I don't mess with the optimized video at all. In regards to audio, I always have two audio tracks. The first one is DTS, or Dolby True Surround 5.1 pass-through, meaning it takes the surround sound video file made by MakeMKV, or audio file rather, and then it just passes it through. It doesn't do any changes to it, so it's just as good as if you were watching the film on a Blu-ray or DVD. And the second one is a backup, just in case this file is played on a device or display that does not support Dolby True Surround, and that is AC3. And for the most part, all of the Blu-rays and DVDs we rip will use DTS, which is Dolby True Surround. And like I said, with a surround sound system, it sounds just as good as viewing the Blu-ray or DVD from the optical drive itself. As for subtitles, I don't really mess with subtitles. It's kind of hard to automate subtitles, especially for movies like Avatar or the Avengers that have what they call foreign audio, or where there are portions of dialogue that require subtitles because the audio is different than English in a different language. So what I do is I go online, I look for foreign audio subtitles for a movie if I know it has them, and then I copy those into the folder with the movie, either a .srt or .ass subtitle file, and then XBMC will pick that up for us. It's really good at that. I do like to preserve chapters, just because, like I said, for convenience sake, and since we are using MKVs, they do support chapters, and I don't see why you wouldn't want them in. I don't mess with the advanced tab, and that's pretty much it. If I went through these too fast, or if you have any questions, or if you're just worried about setting it up yourself, what I'm going to do is export this preset, and then I will upload this file along with this video when I choose to upload this video, so that way you guys can reference it yourself, make changes to it as you see fit, because everybody's setup is different in terms of audio, visual displays, screen size, and things like that. So if you want to change these settings, it took me about a week or two to finally get settings that I really felt comfortable with using across multiple systems. So I think this is a really good catch-all if you like full resolution 1080p video files and your XBMC machine can support it, as well as Dolby True Surround 5.1. And I think that's about it for this video. As always, if there was anything you liked, feel free to like this video. Leave any comments below. If you have any suggestions or ideas of what you want me to do next, or anything you want me to test out, please let me know. And as always, I'll try and get back to you as soon as I can. Once again, thanks for watching, and hopefully we'll see you around.